Wouldn't it be great if you could just buy something and get richer forever without taking risk? Pretty profound idea.
Another day and another Bitcoin all-time high, and you better get used to it at this point. MicroStrategy stock is also ripping to new all-time highs again today, this time up nearly 15%, which leaves haters and those that have not put in the time to understand Bitcoin in total disbelief. And with Ethereum's bleed out continuing, could MicroStrategy be sucking the oxygen out of the room for altcoins, perhaps even replacing them completely this cycle? Bitcoin is up again today, reaching another all-time high just shy of $95,000. But MicroStrategy is the talk of the town as it rips 15% higher and leaves haters in total disbelief. After its run today, MSTR officially has become a $100 billion company, surpassing the market cap of Nike and enters the top 100 publicly traded companies in the US. This comes after Michael Saylor announced the largest single Bitcoin purchase in history on Monday, and just this morning he announced that MicroStrategy has upsized their offering of 0% convertible bonds due in 2029 from $1.75 billion to $2.6 billion. MicroStrategy shareholders' insatiable desire to buy more Bitcoin using cheap debt seems to have no end. And when you look at the performance of their stock in relation to Bitcoin, you can see why. If you're still a bit confused as to what is going on with MicroStrategy's stock and how it can outperform Bitcoin the way that it is, I like the way Joe Burnett puts it here. Issuing bonds to buy Bitcoin is a strategy that exchanges debt for an immutably scarce appreciating asset, maintaining balance sheet neutrality, unlike deficit spending, which funds consumption without acquiring any assets. So in effect, what Saylor and MicroStrategy are doing is so groundbreaking because they are taking advantage of cheap debt in capital markets to stack a totally unique asset in Bitcoin with its immutable scarcity. The fact that so many are perplexed by it is a perfect microcosm of why so many people still don't understand Bitcoin and why the free market keeps pricing it higher and higher every 4 years. Just take a look at this incredible post from R Wall Street Bets on Reddit calling for users to short MSTR stock. Probably not a good idea. The post says, MSTR holds 331,000 BTC with total net worth of $30 billion, but market cap of $100 billion. Buy puts. MSTR has a dying core business and it's now relying on Bitcoin, which isn't even real. Turn off your computer and it's gone. Also, it has no utility or purpose. November 22nd, strike 400 puts. I can only do contracts. It's a start. It will be worth under 200 over the next few months. Crazy dilution, debt, and Bitcoin is Fugazi. This statement, turn off your computer and it's gone, and labeling Bitcoin as Fugazi just shows this user's extremely rudimentary and fundamental misunderstanding of what Bitcoin is. They clearly haven't even put in their first 10 hours to understand what is happening here. With Bitcoin, you need to humble yourself, open your mind, and prepare to think of things outside the box. Any paradigm shift throughout history needed a similar level of open-mindedness to understand. Another great post, this one from Seb Bunny, is a great way to explain in simple terms what is happening with MicroStrategy stock. With MicroStrategy, MSTR, you're essentially buying a Bitcoin ETF for 3.5 times its net asset value, or NAV. Why? Because it's no ordinary ETF. Unlike traditional Bitcoin ETFs, MSTR can issue shares and bonds to buy more Bitcoin, creating a unique flywheel effect. MSTR issues bonds, it buys more Bitcoin, the price of Bitcoin rises. This boosts MSTR share value, enabling more bond issuances. That means MSTR's Bitcoin per share keeps increasing over time. This strategy hasn't just made MSTR a major Bitcoin holder, it's also opened the doors for fixed income investors, including underfunded pension funds who have limited ways to invest directly in Bitcoin. By offering convertible bonds, MSTR provides these investors with the stability of fixed income and the potential for equity upside. And what about the debt? While MSTR might seem to be over-leveraging, its debt-to-equity ratio is actually declining as Bitcoin appreciates. In short, MSTR is not your ordinary Bitcoin ETF. It's a gateway to Bitcoin for the massive fixed income markets, $100 trillion plus, that otherwise wouldn't have access. And many of these buyers are price insensitive. They're buyers at any price. So as long as Bitcoin is going up, MicroStrategy can continue buying more and more Bitcoin, which continues increasing the price and shareholder value, which also increases their ability to borrow money cheaply to buy more Bitcoin. And this will likely continue until either we enter a bear market and the price starts to go in the opposite direction, or we enter full-on hyper-Bitcoinization, whichever comes first. So as long as the market is bullish Bitcoin, and as of now the market is only getting more bullish by the day, MSTR can continue this strategy and see their NAV premium increase. And this has most definitely caught the attention of other publicly traded companies, as Microsoft shareholders who are voting on whether the software giant should add Bitcoin to their balance sheet in December have invited Saylor to a 3-minute time slot to try to convince them that they should. All this hype around MSTR has led many to suggest that this might take the wind out of the sails of altcoins this cycle. Ethereum, the second largest crypto by market cap next to Bitcoin, has seen a steady, nearly 4-year bleed in its value when priced in Bitcoin, as have many other high market cap altcoins. Ethereum's is especially bad considering it had its own ETF launched this year with paltry flows. The bleed out in Ethereum has been so painful that it has been revealed where the ETH Foundation got their logo from. All joking aside, I expect what is happening to Ethereum to happen to all other altcoins in the space. This cycle, we are seeing a clear delineation between Bitcoin and everything else. Sure, your meme coins, which are unapologetically understood to be gambling casino coins, will still see some attention this cycle. But when, in a world where something like MSTR exists as a leveraged play on Bitcoin, you can see why many people chasing exponential gains on top of what Bitcoin offers will look to MSTR instead of the latest trending coin on Coinbase. Since so many still seem to misunderstand Bitcoin on a fundamental level, I'd like to end today with this clip of Michael Saylor on PBD podcast earlier this week, where he gives his explanation of the Bitcoin journey and why it simply takes work to understand this world-changing technology.
You know, when BlackRock got into it, it was a market shift. It was almost like a level of validation, where the market's like, wait a minute, who got into it? A critic? Somebody that wasn't for it? They're flipping? They're not buying? Yeah, you know, we were wrong about it and we're doing this, right? How many of these stories that are public, again, I'm not talking private stories, how many of these stories are public, Michael, that people who were fully against it are now coming around and saying, no, we have to add this to our, to our portfolio?
I think Larry Fink of BlackRock is by far the most compelling spokesperson for the Bitcoin movement, and he kind of epitomizes the intellectual journey, which is a successful financier first hears about it and hears about all the negative things, and good financiers, they go through this checklist of what are the 100 risk factors, right? Because if you're really good at finance, you can tick off all 100 risk factors. So you do the check, you think about it, and you think, well, kind of scary, I'm going to hold off on it for a bit, and you're skeptical. I was skeptical in 2013. He was skeptical. But at some point, if you're around it enough, if there's a need, if you have a need to know, maybe you get pushed and you realize I need to open my mind and I need to embrace a new idea, find a new idea for growth. Maybe it's defensive, maybe it's a growth initiative. And then sometimes when a critical mass of people that you respect begin to speak with you about it, then you open your mind and then you take the position that this is actually a new, profound, revolutionary thing. It's digital capital. I misunderstood it before. I was wrong. I see a place for it in the world. We have this saying, which is everybody's against Bitcoin before they're for it. Everybody is against Bitcoin before they're for it. And so, yeah, it's not unique. It's pretty common. It's like 1 hour to denier. After 10 hours, you're a trader. It's like, well, it's an asset. I'll buy it cheap and sell it when it's too expensive. After, 100 hours, you start to move to be more of an investor. Like, maybe this is a good investment, like Apple or Facebook. And after 1,000 hours, you're a maximalist. You're like, actually, this is an ethical good. This is freedom and economic and property rights to 8 billion people. This is a chance for 400 million companies to capitalize on an asset which isn't toxic. Wouldn't it be great if you could just buy something and get richer forever without taking risk? Pretty profound idea.
Wouldn't it be great if you could just buy something and get richer forever? That's Bitcoin. Have you put in your 100+ hours yet? If you're new to the Bitcoin rabbit hole, Swan has curated some of the best resources to get you started. We call it the Bitcoin Canon. Visit swan.com/canon to start your learning journey today. I'll also leave a link in the description for the first lesson of our Welcome to Bitcoin course, which is a free introductory course for everyone. Visit swan.com/welcome to sign up and start learning. That's it for today. Let me know what you think in the comments below. Like this video and share it with your friends and family that are perplexed by Bitcoin and MicroStrategy. And of course, subscribe to the channel for more high signal Bitcoin content. Thanks for watching, and remember, TikTok, next block.